Get back to work. Go on.
And the next morning, let's see if I can get some shots of the salt here. It's difficult to see on the white. So we got a general splattering in there. A little bit all along this section there. Not too much otherwise. A little bit there. Big scattering up here. And that's it for that one. Big scattering here. A little bit right there. A little bit all along this edge here. Bit of a pile there. And a little more scattering back there. I think some of the more effective effect is something like that there, where it's tiny little holes all over the place. Something like that, or this. One of the nice things is all this, we'll call it cratering or modeling going on. And that's from the water and the salt being scraped off. It doesn't quite go through to the layer below it, but it's enough to make the paint blister. And that's kind of what happens over time, especially when you're dealing with rust. It starts blistering from underneath and then it erupts. Kind of like a normal blister, huh? So yeah, I think I'm going to be happy with this. There's probably 2 or possibly even 3 more paint layers to go. I'm going to go with this primer green for one entire layer, salt that after I scrape it up, and then go with the final whites, which will be this iced gray right there. Unfortunately, I don't have any other grays around. I really thought I did, but I do not. I'm done with the browns, the yellows, the oranges. And I'm going to let this evaporate for a while. I got to run for some errands, and we'll see how it goes next. So even with all fans on full power, it's still a little bit whiffy in here, but it's, considering the amount of spray painting I've just done in the apparently 1 hour and 18 minutes. I just went through, what, 3-4 cans, and I think the base white is essentially done now. There'll be some discoloration to do. I'm going to let it dry for maybe an hour, and then I'll start wiping off some of the well, why not even do it just a little sooner, but not quite yet. I do want the white and the new black to settle down a little before I start pulling too much off of there. However, I think this is pretty much going to be it, and the next step would be probably definitely sanding all that little bit of stuff out right in there. I mean, there should be noise like this, but not cracks like that. This one has come out much better than the other one as far as the edging goes. I'll patch a little here and there. Essentially I'll probably be using like JB weld, and I'll just do very fine amounts so it won't interfere too much with the overall look. I brought these into the shower about while they were still tacky, 20 minutes, possibly as many as 30 minutes, and I proceeded to blast the surface with a particular 3-jet setting that worked pretty well overall. There's still a little cracking in here, but I should be able to sand all that out. And despite being in the shower blast for probably about 10 minutes each, there's still salt surface on here, and that's going to sand off with, I'll probably go light with like 220 or maybe even 440 grit on the Makita Orbital. One nice thing that did happen that I didn't realize when I was doing it is that while this looked like flecking paint that didn't want to release, it's actually blobbed up and gooey. This is a really good example. And that, along with just the way that's really beautiful rusting effect in there. It's really wonderful in person. Then having just a bit up in there and the overlap of these right here, it looks like a cat. And then this pattern back here is just really, really nice. And keep in mind, this is just an intermediate stage still. Once the paint actually starts to cure in maybe 2 or 3 hours, I can come back with the Makita and sand it all down. So even what you're seeing now is not going to be what happens in the end. So that's it for this project for at least a couple more hours, if not tonight. Maybe I'll get one more session in tonight. We'll see how that goes. But otherwise, thanks for watching. See ya.